If the successful crowdfunding trend continues, we could see a watershed moment in comics like the Kindle was to bookstores.
5, 4, 3, 2.
Hey guys, welcome back to the channel. Today I wanted to talk to you about an article written by the Federalists about the ComicsGate movement and independent crowd-funded comic books. Now this is one of the few positive articles coming out from any publication about ComicsGate. And so I wanted to share that with you guys and talk a little bit about it. We're not going to go through the whole thing because it's a very long article, but I'll leave the link down below. Crowd-funded rebellion against identity politics in comics nets $1.25 million and counting. If the successful crowdfunding trend continues, we could see a watershed moment in comics like the Amazon Kindle was to bookstores. That's some very high praise, and it's really awesome to see coming out. They talk about Marvel and DC and the same old stories and everything, but I wanted to focus in on the actual books that they're talking about. Independent crowdfunding comics changed the game. The big comic companies are no longer entertaining a mainstream youth demographic, but actively attempt to socially engineer Americans through propaganda-style storylines, dialogue, and characters. It's clear through their continued attitude towards fans that they don't care about sales or reader reaction. The audience is accordingly turning away in droves. According to BookScan, graphic novels fell 12% by units in 2017, which followed 2 years of large gains. That large drop is similar to what we saw in the NFL when players began to kneel for the national anthem and displaying politics on the field. Customers paying for entertainment don't want angry politics injected into their fun. Comics is an industry designed around escapism, and that's 100% true. We want stories, adventure, fun, to get away from the Twitter bullshit and the world of politics. It's no surprise to see these terrible sales numbers in the wakes of so many political controversies. Yet readers aren't giving up on comics completely. Ever since Richard C. Meyer released his Jawbreaker's Lost Soul comic on Indiegogo earlier this summer with more than 300,000 in sales, actually it's almost 400,000 now, independent creators have made a push to change the industry by crowdfunding their own projects. Much like the political initiative to walk away from the Democratic Party that's gaining steam, comic fans are walking away from the establishment legacy companies. After Meyer's success, former DC artist Ethan Van Sciver launched Cyberfrog on Indiegogo. His comic has been the most successful crowdfunded to date, with a record $538,000. Veteran comic writer Chuck Dixon, creator of supervillain Bane from Batman, has released separate crowdfunds in the last quarter with a close to $100,000 raised between them. His current project is titled Trump Space Force and draws on a number of popular conservative media personalities into the comic. Other Marvel DC artists have joined in on the crowdfunding wave, such as Mitch Brettweiser, whose Red Rooster has made more than $144,000, Michael S. Miller, whose Lone Star is at $45,000. The successes in comic crowdfunding in the summer of 2018 don't stop at the stars in the industry. A lot of people are gaining notoriety from their crowdfunding and their amazing art and everything else because they're just telling stories. They aren't pushing an agenda, and they aren't ideas or ideologue information and garbage down our throats. The new business model for independent creators is to circumvent DC and Marvel's monopolistic distribution that makes it very difficult to break into comic shops. If the successful crowdfunding trend continues, we could see a watershed moment in comics like the Kindle was to bookstores. Regardless, Marvel and DC need to pay attention to what fans want if they intend to remain competitive in the comic book industry for years. John Delarose, thank you for writing this. This article is perfect. It talks about everything that people who are fans of comic books are crying out about, and Marvel and DC doesn't want to hear it. So as you can see in this article, they're talking about how well it's doing. And you guys want to know why? Anyone who questions the ComicsGate movement, why it's doing well, is because people are tired of your left-leaning, hardcore, progressive narratives. Get with it, jump on, and stop pushing these horrid stories, Marvel and DC. We just want no propaganda. We want stories that are fun, we can escape into them, and characters that aren't being manipulated and changed. Anyways, guys, if you like up-to-date comic news, video games, commentary, political and social, you've found the right place. So throw a subscription on the channel, turn those notifications on, and I will see you later today. Oh, and by the way, I will have an article coming out about ComicsGate as well. So I'll put that in the link once I get done with the article, and I'll be sharing it on my Twitter. That is in my links below, so check that out too. Hope you guys have a great day.